Welcome to another episode of the LA Business Podcast. Today, our guest is Nellie Akalp, and Nellie is a serial entrepreneur. Nellie has grown two businesses, one which she exited, and the second one, CorpNet, which is consistently on the Inc. 5000 list. And we're talking about how to build great teams, how to grow, how to use standard operating procedure to respond to the marketplace dynamics. Let's get into this week's episode of the LA Business Podcast. Welcome to the LA Business Podcast, your destination to hear stories of how businesses grow and scale. I'm Robert Brill, CEO of Brill Media and the host of this podcast. Now, let's jump right into this week's interview. Today, our guest is Nellie Akalp, CEO and co-founder of CorpNet. And CorpNet is a legal document filing company for businesses. Nellie is a serial entrepreneur in the online legal document filing space. Nellie and her husband and her business partner started their first business together in 1997. 8 years later, it was acquired by Intuit for $20 million. Her company, CorpNet, is on the Inc. 5000 list. Nellie, thank you for being on the show. Tell us a little bit about CorpNet, and we're really interested to hear stories of how businesses grow and scale. You've done this multiple times. You can go, the floor is yours. Tell us anything you want to tell us about how businesses grow and scale. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Robert. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me. A little bit about myself and kind of my story. My husband and I met in college, and we soon realized we had similar passions, and we wanted to go to law school together. So we went to law school, and we got into different law schools. And in our last year of law school, Phil and I really realized that the entry-level salary for a law school student who's just graduating wasn't really going to be the road for us to kind of help support the lifestyle that we had envisioned for ourselves. We're both only children. We come from broken families, and the lifestyle that we envisioned for ourselves was lots of kids and a really a unit, a family unit. And he came up with a great idea of helping businesses start their businesses online. In 1997, the market was ripe. The internet was just starting. So put up a one-page website, and we started our first company. And fast forward to 2005, we had grown it to where it was doing nearly $1 million in gross sales revenues. And we were approached and blessed with the opportunity of an acquisition. At that time, when we were acquired, we really had no plans of exiting that company. When you start your own company, it's like having a baby, and it's really hard to part ways. But after the acquisition, for us, it really lost its entrepreneurial spirit, and we decided to step down and go under the non-compete that was arranged part of the agreement. And we decided to focus on our then growing family. At that time, I had twins and a third child, and they were all little. So we decided to focus on them, travel a little bit, do a little shopping, kind of work on ourselves. And soon thereafter, we realized it's all, a little too boring, and it lost its allure. And we realized that we were too passionate, too young, and frankly, too young to take on such an early retirement. So we decided to step back into the industry in 2009, and we started CorpNet. CorpNet has become a dream come true for both of us. Truly, to me, CorpNet represents the time that I actually worked really hard to create something out of nothing, because we started CorpNet during the recession, and everything and all the obstacles presented itself at that time for us. So for me, it's a true testament of someone's test of what it takes to really be an entrepreneur, and can you really take and fathom all the highs and lows that come in starting a business and growing a business. So for my husband and I, CorpNet represents truly a testament to us really being up to the test of does it really take what it means to be an entrepreneur for us. And I think we proved that we can really, be within those hard times and really make it through the trenches and all the tests, of making it through and really riding the waves and the lows, the highs and the lows of owning a business, growing a business, and really being faced with all the difficulties of starting a business in a down economy and what it takes to grow that business to where now we're a business that's been listed over and over on the Inc. 5000 list, and also a business that's really growing at a point where we can't keep up with the business. I mean, we started with 10 employees pre-COVID, and now we're up to 50 plus employees, and we're growing at a 200% growth rate month over month. And it's a testament to how much hard work pays off. And when you truly believe and are passionate about what you do. And to this day, I still get goosebumps when I say this.
I mean, it's an amazing story, and it's really a testament to the fact that you can do it once, it's good. If you can do it twice, it says something really excellent about your capabilities.
Thank you.
Um, so my question is, let's start with the numbers: 10 employees to 50 employees after COVID, or current in the current moment. We're recording this in mid May. What was the change that happened that grew the business from 10 to 50 employees in the last year and a half?
I think the change was us as uh, owners of the business being flexible and being nimble to having to be able to be open to change with a changing economy and a change in our world. I mean, that's really what it boils down to is as a business owner, you have to be able to pivot and change based on the change of needs of your clientele. And I think for us, we were in a position where we could, and we were really open and I would say open to change and also very willing to take action to change and to be able to serve the demands of our clients during that time, whether it was helping them with applying for the SBA loans, assisting them with the payroll, the Paycheck Protection Program loans. So it started with that, and then once each of the business owners, all the business owners that we were assisting kind of had their, security,
Right,
and
their footing under their foundation under them. Yeah, yeah.
whether, it was starting, continuing on with their current business or closing down a business and going to a new business, we decided to expand and start going after other types of services such as payroll and sales tax registrations. Because one of the exciting things about COVID, and this is maybe, my way of looking at life, is I always look at life and everything that goes on in your life as whether it's negative or positive, especially the negative ones. I try to look at the silver lining or the opportunities in those negative things that happen. And unfortunately, and it's very unfortunate, but COVID or any type of situation that comes up, in my opinion, really shows people's true characters, and people's true characters come out in those times. And for us, what I saw COVID as opportunities of new ways to grow our business. And it really paved the way for us to enter the sales and employer tax registration market, helping us truly focus on helping businesses expand into other states. And if they are growing in other states, help them, register for payroll, register for sales tax, use tax. And a lot of businesses during COVID and as a result of COVID had to go remote. But the beauty of that was the fact that now having to be remote, they had more access to talent in just their own state, but in other states. As a result, we were kind of in a really good position to start positioning ourselves as a compliance filing service of not only helping businesses start a business, but also helping them be compliant with all of their business licensing permits, employer permits, sales tax permits, and all of those other services. So at the end of the day, it's all about being able to be so flexible with your business and having, being at the right place at the right time. And I think that's really the key to be able to grow a business and really stay afloat with your competition.
So Nellie, when March, I believe the date was March 13th, which was a Friday. That to me was the date that like this turned into a budding problem in the United States to, okay, this is the real deal. This was the day I had a meeting. Um, that day, when I got out of the meeting, I found out that South by Southwest was canceled on that day,
Hmm.
which is a $450 million economic benefit to the city of
Yeah.
Austin.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, that this is a problem. And then in the subsequent days, the NBA season canceled, MLB pushed, hockey slowed down or canceled within that next week. What were the actions that you took during the end of March, middle to end of March into April of 2020? Did you sit down with your management team and say, okay, boy, we've got to do something? Did you get a slew of calls from your clients? Like, it's a lot of quick thinking that you need to kind of deploy. Um, as, how do you what are the actions that you took that allowed you to kind of like take the right action and grow your business during this period?
I love the question. So simply stated, I remember like it was yesterday. I was actually in my office and my director of operations came up to me and goes, we have to close down and we have to go remote. And I'm like, no, I'm not going remote. I'm staying here. And he's like, no, you don't understand. We're all going to be going remote. You have to, otherwise they're going to fine us. So finally, I had to literally like surrender and kind of see it their way. So we ended up going remote. But the really great thing about it was that he actually had a backup plan for us, and he along with my husband slash my business partner had already like created a system for everybody to be able to be remote on the fly. So all they literally had to do was just pick up their workstation and take it to their house. Everything else we could plug in with a remote VPN and start, you know, conducting business. So from that sense, they had already created this system, and this system was already in place for us because as a document filing service whereby we're dealing with all 50 states, we do have employees that work in different states, and we do have employees who are remote in different states. So we already had this capability set up. It was a matter of just taking our sales department and our customer service department, which is located in-house in our corporate headquarters, and getting them to go remote. So that got done. And then soon thereafter, we literally had a huddle and we were like, okay, this is really scary because we're not going to be able to start businesses with people when practically the world is shutting down. What are we going to do? And we quickly saw a need specifically because of the fact that we are the hub in helping people start businesses. So the natural fit here was getting into the loan industry and helping our clients with getting the SBA loans. So that was the first step for us. And luckily, my husband and I come from two different schools of thought. He is the tech person. He is basically the person who deals and heads all of the development in our company. He is really the visionary of the company when it comes to streamlining and automating processes within our company. So I had that going for us as well, in that it was very quick to launch when it came to any type of new services that we were going to offer in this realm of products and services and getting into the SBA loan industry. So we quickly decided to become a loan preparation, document preparation service to our clients who were in need of the SBA EIDL loans and also the Paycheck Protection Program loans. And it was crazy. We literally started just publishing these services online. And again, the influx of requests were exorbitant. And it was an area that people absolutely needed help with. They were overwhelmed with fear because they didn't know what to do, not because of the fact of their business going down. That was a big part of it, but also, am I going to be okay? Is
Right.
health is my health at risk? So there's a myriad of different types of, I guess, pain points that
Yeah.
the client had to deal with, and for us to come in and be able to take on this, element of the multiple stressors that people were faced with was just such a blessing for people. And
Uncertainty totally kills economies. I mean,
yeah,
when you look at some of these South American countries, like I visited Argentina a couple years ago, and so I paid attention to the news that was happening. Like when you, and this is like a very basic economic concept that I didn't study economics. I took two classes, but it stuck with me that economies can't grow when you can't make foundational investments for long-term returns. And so immediately during this coronavirus COVID situation, we immediately resorted to what a phrase that I like is called flight to value. Right?
yeah,
You're going to go wherever you think you can get a trust, a foundational understanding from the partner you work with.
yeah.
And what's interesting to me, Nellie, is that your business, based on the website, it appears to be very transactional, right? I work with you, business filings made simple. Fantastic. That does Do you have you maintained long-term relationships with the folks that your clients, your customers, or is it like do the business filing and then we're on board and then that's it? And like
So
how do you guys work together
So,
with
so it's
clients?
actually interesting because yes, we do have the internet storefront that kind of really shows it being more of a transactional. And it's funny you bring that up because I'm going to look into that because although it may seem transactional to you, really the core of our business is through our CorpNet partner program, whereby we partner with other business professionals, entrepreneurs representing clients, whether they'll be accountants, CPAs, lawyers, business consultants, business coaches that are representing multiple clients, whereby they use us as either a referral source to send over their clients, or they become a white label reseller of our products and services through an API. So although, we do have a public facing storefront, which, is available to that single transaction business owner who just wants to start a business, even for that single transaction business owner, they still have to come back because it's one thing of starting a business, but you also have to keep that business in compliance. So even with a entrepreneur who's not representing clients and is using our services for their own business filing needs, we don't look at it as just a single transaction. They have to come back to us because that business may take on a myriad of roles throughout the life cycle of that business. They may need to change a business address, they may need to expand a business, they may now have employees. So we look at every client, whether they're starting a business for themselves or a client who is going to be a partner of ours and representing multiple clients, as a long-term relationship with them. And that's really what's differentiating us from our competition, in that we're not looking for that single based transaction. We're looking to create a relationship with our clients, which really, again, is a testament to the growth of our business.
So let's talk about marketing. When we think about marketing, we want to identify the key clients that we're, the key personas. It sounds like the folks who you are, the best types of customers for you are the accountants and CPAs and bookkeepers and that business services, the back office business who can white label your capabilities. Is that kind of like the right?
I would say every type of client is a great client. I
Sure,
don't like I say bring them on. I
of
don't
course.
have any limitations to who I can serve. In my opinion, there's plenty of business to go around for everyone, and a lot of people who look up to me for mentorship, they always say, like, what's the key to your success? And I always say there's no magic pill. You just have to be at the right place at the right time, be passionate about what you do, and really execute on that idea, because an idea is just an idea. Everybody comes up with ideas. It's what you do with that idea that really separates you from everybody else. And so for me, I don't limit myself to any type of customer. I say bring them all over.
Of
And
course.
there's plenty, that I can help you no matter who you are, as long as you're in need of our services.
What does the remainder of 2021 look like, and looking into 2022, what are the key areas that you're focusing on? Is it growth? Is it operational
I
stuff?
think it's a little bit of everything for our company, just because I have to balance the rapid growth right now with also making sure that our processes are being developed to be able to sustain the growth, and making sure that we are continuing to evolve and be able to continue to serve our clients in the most efficient, streamlined way when it comes to business filings and compliance. So I wouldn't say it's black and white. I think it's a little bit of everything, because right now, as I mentioned, we are in such a growth stage with our business that not only I have to look at the overall strategy of the business and kind of look at it from a holistic approach, whereby we're doing a little bit of everything to be, to make sure and to ensure that we're not just focusing on one thing and having something else, um,
Yeah,
pretty
fall through. It
well.
doesn't make any sense to win
Yeah,
new clients and then not
yeah,
be able to service them
yeah.
effectively. Absolutely. There's a lot of similarities between your business and mine, because a lot of the way we've grown is through referrals and relationships. And it's important to diversify, and it's also important to really focus in on operational strengths and standard operating
The end
procedures.
of the day, your reputation is everything. In my opinion, it's all about relationships and your reputation. And one thing that I really pride ourselves on with CorpNet is you're always going to have that unhappy customer no matter what you do to service them. And so I'm not going to sit here and say, we're the perfect company with, everybody loves us. If I said that, it's not really genuine and authentic. As a growing business, and especially when you're in that growth spurt, you're likely to have a few clients who are not going to be happy with your service or feel like you haven't really, provided them with timely service or whatnot. And I welcome those customers as well, because, in my opinion, that really shows you in a truistic light to new people who want to use your services. And I think new businesses want to see that side of you, in that, how did you deal with that client who was unhappy? And I think that's where, you as a business and your reputation really comes to light, is even in those situations where you had an unhappy client, how did you resolve that situation? What steps did your team take to make that client whole? So I really do feel that that has a lot to do with it as well. Because, again, as a growing business, you're going to have the 5-star reviews, you're going to have the 1-star reviews, you're going to have the 3-star and the 4-star. And it's really, at the end, looking at those negative reviews as an opportunity as to how you're going to rise from it, and how you are going to make it right with your clients.
When a new client is looking at you and wants to work with you, what's the decision making process that you usher them through? Right, like I guess my question is: there anything? Are there any like guides or free consultations? What are some of the kind of like hooks that you make available to new clients or prospective clients that really makes a difference in your ability to close them as a new customer?
Well, I think one of the things that really sets us apart from our clientele and from our competition is the plethora of content that we have on the internet,
Mhm.
um, where it's really, really in-depth content, anywhere from starting a business to even thinking about starting a business, running a business, managing a business, compliance, and all the way to closing down a business. So content is really important for us, and we have a plethora of content. Number two is the consistency that we've had in being in the public eye through our public relations and press, and really all of our online content. Um,
Mhm.
I do at least 3 to 4 webinars a month just on this area, educating in this area of small business startups, compliance management, all the way to expansion. And then, in my opinion, it also has to do with all the podcasts, and really staying on top, and growing with our ever-changing economy and world, and really staying up to speed. So I think there's a multitude of things that allow us to really gain that trust, and that allow us to get that client's foot in the door. And then once they're in the door, in my opinion, it has to do with really, really listening to the client's needs and building that trust, because trust to me is the first thing that you want to capture from that client. And I always tell my team, if you're getting a phone call, if somebody's picking up the phone and calling CorpNet, that's somebody who's ready to buy. And it's your job as the sales rep to have the necessary tools and training to be able to sell them. And you have to be able to, in order for you to be able to close a sale, you have to be able to listen to a client's needs and really connect with them and gain their trust. Because when you have a client's trust, you can sell that client anything, in my opinion.
Amazing. In terms of going back to kind of like in marketing, I'm checking out. We have a tool called Ahrefs, and I'm checking out your backlinks. You have some pretty great backlinks. I mean, you're referenced and noted in Wikipedia,
Yes.
with the GoDaddy, Forbes, Business Insider, Yahoo,
Mhm.
Inc. That's really really amazing. I mean, do you work? Is that a function of like agencies or internal work? Like, how do you divvy out what you focus on internally versus what you like work with other agencies for?
So, one of the things that I'm truly blessed with is I have a full-time publicist who works with me and who's been with me since day one of our company.
Wow.
And I think again, it's a partnership, because she can't really do her job if I'm not willing to allocate time to give her all the tools and all of my time for her to be able to be successful in getting me opportunities and appearances such as this one that we're doing today. So I think it's a partnership whereby you have to be able to be willing to put in the time. And one thing that I've always felt that Allison and I, my publicists, have been successful at is that she's a go-getter, I'm a go-getter, and she's and it's very clear. The direction has always been clear, the boundaries have always been clear. And when you have a secure functioning relationship with any one of your you know team members that you work with, it's a recipe for success, in my opinion. So I really think the key is consistency. I really think it's about showing up when you're, supposed to show up, um, and really promising to do what you are saying you're going to do, and not only doing it but overdoing it, and under promising and over delivering. When it comes
Awesome.
to every aspect of your business.
Nellie, if people want to reach out to you and the business, how can people find you?
Absolutely. So, anybody who wants to start a business, maintain their business, expand a business in any of the 50 states, feel free to visit our website at www.corpnet.com. You can also pick up the phone, dial 1-888-449-2638. We're all over social media. You can connect with us through Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Google, Instagram. We're all over. You can also send us an inquiry through info@corpnet.com. You can also chat with us online if you just go to our website at www.corpnet.com. You'll see a chat button, and one of our tenured experts will be able to chat with you. For those of you who have clients and who'd like to partner with us, we have an amazing partner program whereby you can partner with CorpNet and refer your clients to CorpNet and receive a commission. Or you can also become a reseller of our products and services and sell the service as your own while you get wholesale discounted rates from us. So visit us on CorpNet. It's been a pleasure to be on your podcast, Robert. And
Same.
thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Nellie. Nellie Akalp, serial entrepreneur and CEO of CorpNet. Thanks for being with us today, Nellie.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the LA Business Podcast. If you like what we're doing on this podcast, please consider subscribing on Apple or Google Play, leaving a 5-star review, and sharing with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations for a guest you'd like to hear on this podcast, please email me, robert@brillmedia.co. Thank you. Have a fantastic day.